Welcome back to another Delusions of Mediocrity battle report. This is my Deepkin versus Ben Murphy's Legions of Nagash. This is my game 4 from the Rage of Sigmar event that I attended, and we are playing Starstrike. So if you've watched my Essex GT battle reports, you'll know that I had a very similar matchup in that tournament as well. So let's see if I can redeem myself. So here are the lists. Mine is the same as it is in pretty much all of these battle reports so far. Here's Ben's list. He's got Nagash with some spells, a Necromancer with a Luminary Rod, and now this is great. I'll tell you all about it in the actual game. Some Direwolves, a ton of Chain Rasp, a ton of Reapers, Geminids, and the Spell Portal. So, fairly compact list. Two big threats here. And we'll see how it goes. So this is the battlefield. Now my only chance I figured going into this, we'll talk about the deployment in a second, but because he's only got 2 units really that can swamp objectives, I'm just splitting my forces and hoping that some of the objectives don't fall in the middle and actually go to some extremes, because then my mobility will hold out, and if I can tie his units up for a bit, I might be able to hold out. So you'll notice that he has screened Nagash off fairly well. He's got his wolves here protecting his backfield from my ever-present Soulscryer and King ambushing party. And you'll notice I've gone fairly symmetrical. I've got Thralls, Reavers, Eels, Thralls, Reavers, Eels, Eternal Guard. The Reavers are out on the side so that with a rigged run roll, either from him or my big hook guys here on them, they can get 14 inches and should be able to get... Basically, I've got infantry that should be able to hit anywhere on the middle line, depending on where the objectives come down. Oh, blurry. I outdropped him, I think. Or he... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, he outdropped me. So he outdropped me and gave me first turn. I decided to be very, very, very cautious. I didn't flip the tides. I tried to get the "you can't fly" prayer off, and I really should have set up better for that, because his army would have been massively screwed. So again, in hindsight, we're learning. Against death, maybe what I want to do is actually clump my heroes together around the boat so I can get that off fairly comfortably. Because if their big mobile units can't fly, then all of a sudden it's a lot harder, especially when they screen like that. But I decide I'm going to put some early pressure on, bring the king on, go in to take out his unit of wolves here, and I figured that's one less unit that can contest an objective. He's not going to do a whole lot, but it does give me something for him to worry about, and at the same time, I know he can bring it back from his grave sites. There's one there, and I'll show you on the rest of the battlefield. Well, actually, let's just go back here. There you go, 1, 2, 3, and there's one behind this rock. If he wants to spend his CPs on bringing walls back, that's absolutely no problem. So, here we go. Some next level. I was just impressed on this. So, my round, I actually don't do anything. I sit back and go, I'm happy to wait. I actually cast the Maelstrom out for once. My once per lifetime Maelstrom went out. So I might as well get it out there. We'll see what happens with the priorities. If I get it next to Nagash, it will give me potentially an extra 8 dispel rolls, which, I mean, come on. Who doesn't want that? But, at the end of my turn, he blasts his own unit of Grimghast with the Luminary Rod. Did some mortal wounds on these guys, but he did mortal wounds here in the middle and split his unit out of coherency. Which meant that in my Battle Shock phase, he had to remove half the unit. Now, why did he do that? Let's go to his turn 1. For this, they grow back, don't they? The little buggers grow back. From Nagash, here's D3. Necromancer, here's D3. That's a gravesite here, have D3. That gravesite, you're now in range, D3. This one here, have D3. So at this point, that half unit of Grimghast is now wop, 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 for no movement cost, which is, yes. He got the spell portal off. Don't know where the other one's gone. I think he might be trying to take out my chap here, because what I've done is I basically backlined my army so that I wasn't in range of any turn 1 spells. Oh, there we go. The other one's out here. He's moved. I think he was able from there to debuff my eels so that they're at -1 attack and D6 charge, something like that. And he's moved these up so he can turn 1 charge my thralls, which was just, I was just straight up impressed. I was like, dude, I'm not even mad. That's just impressive. And I think I also left too much of a gap here where he was able to actually hit, tie my eels in as well. So story of a lot of these things, tournaments, that I just let people pile into my units, and it's just a bit of an experience. Oh, he got Van Hels off on these chappies. No, he failed. Sorry, he failed to get Van Hels off on these guys, which meant that his turn 1 charge wasn't going to be as brutal. Still hurt quite a bit, but there we go. Nagash is pooting off on this side, so I think his plan is to have the Chain Rust be able to hit objectives over here, have Nagash sit on objectives over here, and the Grimghast on objectives over here. So we'll see. Oh, blurry. There we go. So he goes in. Doesn't kill as many as I was worried. Without the double pile in, it's not as bad as it might be. And he sort of charges in and spreads them out a bit. I do a fair bit of damage in return. And what he's been able to do is, you see when he charges in, he just tags my eels in here. Now, I think I actually burnt their shocks on them. My reasoning is 5 or 6 mortal wounds on Arcan with this 4-up bounce and 6 is not as good, whereas their -2 rend on the charge is really good. So I figured, let's just try and keep these guys down to a manageable size. I'm still getting to grips with how to deal with death, and I think it was the wrong move. I needed to keep that for a turn where I was fairly sure I could hit them with just about everything I have and try and wipe them out, and then possibly try and sit on grave sites. Because the way I did this is every time I killed a load of them, Ben was able to just summon them back in any direction that suited him, which was just great. Like, the summon, like, when you see a good player do some cool summoning shit with the undead, is just brilliant. Yep. So again, I think like most of these games, we forgot about our secondaries. I've got to overrun, which means I need to get a unit in each table quarter, and he can't. And I think his one here is to kill all of my battle line. Blurry and thumb. Wow. Okay, so I get priority into turn 2. It's 0-0, and oh, there we go. That saves it, doesn't it? More thumb. Just such poor photography. It's just not even funny. Now, we rolled a 12 for that first objective, and it's landed over here, which makes me quite a happy chappy. So what I've decided to do here is I need to put pressure on these. I know they regrow, and it's just horrible, but the more pressure I put on them, the better. I've pushed up with these eels. My idea is to quite possibly... He can't summon everything back, is my idea. So if I can hit both units really, really hard, it splits his options. So, my Tidecaster and eels have pushed away from here. They've come round so they can get a load of shots on. Hindsight, I probably should have pushed with them as well, but it is what it is. So this is the state of it. Having one priority is push my Maelstrom back towards me. And here is my issue. I left the gap. Because the point is that in his turn, what he's going to be able to do is regrow these guys around, and when he piles in, hook this unit in again. I had plenty of move to pull them way out the way, so I had a free unit of eels running around to threaten Nagash, and I didn't. So that's on me. These eels and the king both go into this unit. We decide we're going to try and take them out. A few shots take these guys out. They've pushed up, maybe done a couple of wounds. I'm just trying to hit. Look at my pile of Grimghast up here. We're trying to hit them. We're trying to hit them. I've left him all by himself to hold that objective. Fairly optimistic. I mean, we're doing okay. this is how many of these I've killed every turn pretty much. Now that's why I'm not too fussed about the CPs, because to summon them back, he's using his CP every turn to put up Nagash's command ability. So his unit is his army is rerolling once to hit and armor save and immune to battle shock. Because otherwise these guys would have just disappeared at this point. And yeah, so I'm just trying to hit them really hard, but I think I just don't have my timing right yet when it comes to facing death. I just really, really don't. But that will come. So yeah, I mean, I fought these down to basically almost nothing, but the key word there is almost nothing, which isn't the same against death. Almost nothing and nothing are just worlds and worlds and worlds apart. But anyway, I managed to score 2 points. These guys are fairly done. He comes in, does a few wounds. Isn't that nice for him? So, Ben's turn 2. Yeah, look at this. Just regrown like absolute nut jobs. And it's this gap here. I could have taken him off earlier, right? Because having him there, he can pile in, still be closer. And actually with the base sizes, that then tagged my eels. Small margins are what are making the difference here. And these guys have been regrown and like, whoop, and now they are tagging the eels, so that if I kill these guys this turn, which I won't, and you'll notice what he's done is he's regrown them round this way. What does that do? Again, I think they're nice and tidied up here. No, he regrows them round. Then in his movement phase, oh, blurry shot. There we go, regrowing these. He's blasted these with a spell from Nagash. Oh, super blurry. But Nagash is pushed up here. He wants to do some killing. And you can just, if you squint, is there a better picture here? No. If you squint, these guys have run away to take this objective this turn. There I was feeling fairly smug and happy about that. Just literally the entire game was him regrowing units in strategic ways. And there we go. Because as things stand, I'm in a good position to go sit on. I think these are debuffed as well, so my eels are just not getting into the game at the moment. Nagash either shoots or charges and takes these chappies off, and as you can see, they've regrown and tagged my eels, which makes me a very, very, very sad panda. And I think this is the state of the battlefield. Oh, these guys. So I think looking here, I forgot to take a picture going to round 3. So at the end of round 2, it was 2-2. Both of us, I win priority. I just love winning priority. It's the best things. He runs off round here because I want to save him and he'll get to grow back. These guys are pushing up. And again, my thought is let's try and hit this hard. So these eels have retreated out of combat to put pressure on his home objective. So we rolled for it. These have moved up. So my home objective has landed here. And his one is here. See this little pyramid up on the top right of the screen. So by pushing my eels up on this side, my hope was I have to force him to deal with it somehow. So if that pushes Nagash up there, then Nagash isn't dealing with my center. And I'm just hoping that it's high tide, so I'm just going to throw everything I've got into here. And the other thing this does is that if I charge him in, he can hold this gravesite. My eels I was able to get on this gravesite. And where Nagash is, so if I get a really good turn of attacks, bearing in mind these guys I think are debuffed, quite possibly, but these can do a number. He can't summon anything back next turn because he won't be able to, even with a run, we measured it the way it zones him out with personal space issues, he won't be able to be within 9 of either gravesites to bring anything back. So I was thinking, okay, we might be able to salvage, get this one. My Reavers have pushed up here. They're just trying to shoot these guys off, but I mean, this was a grind that really my Reavers should have won, but they didn't. But they should have, but they didn't. But there we go. So we go in. So they've charged. These guys, I think, are still tagged, so they can't, if I remember correctly, because otherwise they would have charged in. I've got a fair number of attacks here. I'm just hoping. Now, in Ben's defense, he was not rolling well for his 4-up ethereal saves in this game at all on his Grimghast. They were made out of papier-mâché, I swear to God. His death save were quite good. These little bastards up here were bulletproof. We shot them with 30 shots and killed like 2. And then charging in, I'm still putting another 20 attacks in there. They've got a 5-up save. You'd think I'd be able to clear them out, wouldn't you? Yeah, right. So, bit of an action shot up here. We start killing 3. There are 3 of the little shits left. 3 of them. Did I mention 3? Yes, 3. Oh my God. If I'd killed them, different game. But 3 were left. To be honest, I shouldn't complain. The only reason there are 3 left is that he wasn't rolling particularly well on his 4-ups, but still, small margins. They're just chilling up there. Nagash is here. I actually do manage to score a fair few points here. I get up to 8 points because it's turn 3 and I'm scoring this objective and that objective for 6. There we go. Oh, he hits back, kills 1 thrall. So into his turn 3. And look, it's just back again. It's just, why? How? These guys get D3 back. And so in this grind, he grows them back this way in a really smart way. Like, again, if they'd been dead, they were dead, gone, finished. At least until they would be useful. And it was just so frustrating. So, spells. Nagash, or is it this guy, is able to put up the Umbral Spell Portal. 1 there next to Nagash, 1 next to my eels. He casts Hand of Dust. I pick the dice badly. And there we go. So in the Battle Shock phase, I'm going to lose half this unit. These guys are piling in weird and wonderful ways. He's put the Geminids through, so he's at -1 to hit. Or they came down last turn. I mean, the Geminids are just going around being a bit of a nuisance. Nagash goes into my eels. They are debuffed to buggery. They've got 1 attack only, or -1 attack, and they are -1 to hit. These guys are just killing me, man. 2 attacks each, like 4s and 4s, or whatever it is, 4s and 5s, and they're just, these little fuckers. Oh, sorry, excuse the language, but frustrating. They just swamped him. They're just going, nah, you're dead, man. You're dead. But now here's the interesting thing. He decides he definitely doesn't want my eels charging into his backfield if I win priority. So he ums and ahs a bit and tags them. What that does enable me to do, although I would have rather... I lost 1 due to some other magic something. Means I get to pile in and get them back into coherency. But not able to charge which into round 4, which is a nuisance. So at the end of Ben's turn, he is controlling his one because he's retreated wolves and necromancers, and because of this great spack off of our time, he's got more models here, so he's now controlling this one. So this has gone from an objective I was fairly comfortable on to, oh dear God, what's happening, oh dear God. But I win priority. So again, I'm going to moan and bitch about a lot of stuff, but at the end of the day, I did win priority pretty much every single round. So we're back to running and charging. Although, because I won priority, he put the Geminids through. This guy had lost a lot of wounds, and yeah, he dies. And to spells as well. I can't remember what, but he dies to spells. Which again puts them open to do whatever they want. Now I push my 3 eels up. Now they can't charge, but I mean, they're going to be a nuisance. These are going to come try help here. Now, Nagash didn't actually do that well against the eels last time. There's still 3 of them there. They finally, with their shooting and everything, they are finally able to clear these off. And Nagash just clears off the rest of the eels. Although, I will say, look, this little chappy here is now within 12, so I'm going to get to use it. maybe I do get to charge in and do some damage here. I can't remember how that particular one worked out, but either way, I'm actually able to score all 3 objectives this turn for a massive 12 points, putting me on 20 points to his 8. So I'm doing my absolute best. Upside down pick. So into his turn 4, and the world regrows here, like just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Oh dear. Oh dear God. Just remember that time they were down to 3. Do you remember? Those were the best of times, but there they are. Now, the last few of these that were still around retreated out of combat with my eels, but now there's 4 of them to my 3, so he's outscoring me here. And Nagash moves up and uses a CP. I actually blocked, like, spells this turn. The Maelstrom, I think, dispelled 2 spells. He moves up and CPs them back. Right, 9-inch charge, right? Okay. Fine. Because here's the crux of this game. Now again, I've won priority every turn, right? Whatever. If he doesn't make this charge, right, with the Grimghast, he's going to score that far one there, and he's scoring this one this turn, right? So that will put us on 16 points to 20. I've got 2 big units scoring my home objective here. Now, if he doesn't make it, and I get priority, I can charge them in my turn 5, score his objective, go up to 30 points, in which case he needs to score all 3, and that would put huge amounts of pressure of him to score, to have to score my objective. But he rolls it, doesn't make the charge, he's got a CP, re-rolls it, and there's the 9 he needs. These guys obviously just charge up and just wipe these little bastards out. They don't even have to roll. Like, they've got so many of them have just grown back. So he's scoring this objective. So if we go back to the overall battlefield, he's able to charge in, deny me scoring this. So I go up to 20. I go to 20. So I'm on 20 points. So in his turn, he charges in, scores 8 points himself, 4 from here, 4 from here. So at the end of round 4, it's 20 points to 16, and we call it there. Because I think even if I win priority, my best case scenario now is I score my own objective, and he can just sit there, score 10 points, and go up to 26 points to my 25, and that's where we call it. If he hadn't made that charge, and if I'd had that priority, and I know, lots of ifs, I think I might have been able to do it, because Nagash by himself, 20 Eternal Guard, and I'd at that point managed to regrow up to pretty much a full unit of Thralls with a CP, so I could have screened them off so that he couldn't take me off my objective. You know, do a final stand like in the Stormcast. So even though, you know, I'm still finding my feet. Yeah, that was a loss, by the way. Let's go up to there. Yep, there we go. That's a loss. So even though I'm still finding my feet against death, there are still a couple of points in that game where it could have gone my way. And yes, that's with me winning lots of priorities. So I'm still happy with the way I played. A few mistakes on the pile-ins, etc. I'm just letting people tag my eels because I'm not being careful enough. But I'm learning from it, so hopefully we won't see too much of that. So that's a loss for this one. I hope you'll join me soon for the last game of this Rage of Sigmar event. See ya.